Hi Sagittarius, welcome to your mid-November 2019 General Tarot Update. It's Rena here. You know, when I do these readings, I remember when I first started, I used to just go from Aries to Pisces. And I noticed that other astrologers or other tarot readers would mix it up. And I was kind of like, I wonder why they do that. And then I realized, oh, duh, because they don't want people, if they're not doing them all at once, to feel like they're always like picking them last or something like that. And yet, if you're doing it kind of like haphazard, you have to remember, okay, did I do this sign before? And I've done readings like, you know, 2 signs over, you know, like I've done a sign over again, like twice and stuff. And so now I'm trying to remember, did I do Sag already or what? And I don't think I did, but this is the second reading in a row that I'm like, I wonder if I've done this one before. So I guess we'll find out, huh? Alrighty then, let's see what we got here. Okay, so the heart of the matter is the Knight of Swords. This can be an air sign male, especially one that is younger than you, or they are youthful in their spirit. This is a combination of air and fire energy. Astrologically, it could be like a sun in Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, and then the fire element, Aries, maybe a moon sign or Mars or something, where they're just, you know, it comes out, or the rising sign. So like Aries, Leo, Sag, that kind of in-your-face quality. This is somebody who's outspoken. And Sag is very comfortable with that type of person, provided that they are, you know, sensitive, that they're not just like a jerk and just kind of saying things in a rude way and then saying, hey, it's only the truth. You know, sometimes people do that, and they're using the truth as a weapon. As far as careers, this person could be a writer or a lawyer. So to me, sometimes when I see this card, I even think of somebody who is consulting a lawyer, like marital problems. But you know, that's just one possibility. It's for me, this card represents perhaps you finding your voice in some area of your life. Maybe you have allowed a situation to get out of control, and you've kind of been a weenie about it, and you haven't spoken up. And it's finally gotten to the point where you can't ignore it any longer. In the past position, we have the Strength card. So it's like kind of like gaining your self-esteem so that you can feel like you have the right to, or the authority to speak on something. Even like, I mean, based on other cards here, I mean, this could be in the workplace for sure. And perhaps the Knight of Swords, sometimes I see like that it represents another person plus a quality within yourself. You know, I don't know if that would work for anybody, but in other words, you may have a coworker who is, creating problems because of their attitude, and you are not putting up with it anymore. I don't see this person as your boss, but now that I think about it, this could be the boss, and she could be very biased, but she thinks she's being totally fair. And the Queen of Swords, we have the combination of water and air energy here. So we have the feminine and the masculine. This woman, I usually interpret the court cards as, if they're not, if they're another person other than yourself, as gender specific. So if this is a woman who is a boss, she may be favoring a fellow employee, even though his behavior is not something that is really appropriate, is not something that is harmonious in the workplace. So in other words, he may be causing problems and she's taking his side. This woman, if you're a woman, may even have a problem with you. Like, she may favor men. And I'm saying this as a woman who also happens to be a Sagittarian. And I think that sometimes, and for some reason I want to say Libra, this woman. But, the other air signs are Gemini and Aquarius. But that's something, I could see it being Aquarius for sure. But what happens sometimes is that when you have a woman who is in a position of authority, she may identify with men more than women, especially if she's a masculine sign. And so she automatically has more faith in a man, or more, she gives the man more respect. And so you may be ironically dealing with a case of sexism, but it's coming from at the hands of a fellow woman. So that would be strange, wouldn't it? But I also think that this woman, this female boss, lacks logic. She may think that she's full of logic, and she's really like, she's hard to figure out. Because what she stands for, what she says, doesn't make any sense in the context of what is going on in the workplace. Like, for instance, you may have a lot of qualities that make you a valuable employee, and that this Knight of Swords may be kind of like very erratic, and yet she thinks that he's a better worker, and he may be less cooperative even, and yet she favors him, and there's nothing you can do about such a person. There's like this deeply illogical streak in them. The higher message is the Six of Swords. This is a card of leaving an unpeaceful, inharmonious situation for calmer waters. And as a spiritual message or advice, I think what they're saying is that you can't really reason with certain people, and if your self-esteem is threatened by a person who may be very competitive, this Knight of Swords individual, or they just may be very hard to talk to. They might be kind of insulting, and you don't like their vibe. And maybe you don't like this Queen of Swords. I think that she's probably pretty insulting, maybe downright abusive verbally as well. And she has a bunch of mental tricks that you would have to do it. You know, I had just thought too, this could even be a domestic situation with a siblings, and the Queen of Swords could be like a malignant narcissistic mother. Queens can be mothers, and so maybe you're still living at home, and I mean, you could be in your 20s and living at home, and or even, who knows, even older than that, who knows, and dealing with the same old sibling rivalry, and feeling that this person is disrespecting you, and the mother is taking this, I guess it would be a brother in a lot of cases, side in that kind of behavior. And so you are really advised to look into, you know, maybe moving on and not allowing people to affect you that way. There may be reasons why you are still there, though. Maybe it's financial reasons, so that might have to be sorted out. What's coming in, or the advice, again, this is more of the mundane advice. Again, death. This is, maybe you've taken a situation as far as it can go, Sag. Oh, isn't that interesting? I was just thinking of, you know, the fact that at this time, the sun, and I don't know where Mercury, Mercury too, because it's a retrograde, is in the 12th house. And I don't know how my fellow Sagittarians have been, but this has been really, really intense for me. And it's like, whoa. So all of that stuff coming up, all of that stuff about preferential treatment in one form or the other. And by the way, you know, sometimes these things tend to repeat themselves. So you can have like a situation at work where there is preferential treatment and you're like, when does this end? I grew up with this. And it's like, ding, ding, ding. That's why it keeps following you, because you have to really release it, and you have to see it to release it. You can't release something you have no clue about. And sibling rivalry or narcissistic abuse is something that you don't necessarily realize until you're older, because you're just kind of so conditioned to think it's the norm. And it's really a mind blower when you discover so many things that you realize went on when you were younger, and you're like, wow. And then you're not, but you know, it has a good side, because you don't react in the same way anymore that you just normally did. But you may have to like let go of a dream. Maybe that's what the death card is. The death of a dream, the death of ever having the kind of relationship that you had hoped to have. I mean, not to be negative, but I think a lot of people eventually realize that they have to let go of that desire. And it's amazing how much destruction can happen with these types of people, that they can triangulate and turn, you know, one child against the other, and even extended family members can get involved with it, aunts and uncles and cousins and stuff like that. So understanding, you know, how far you can go with a situation, it does to me go along with that Six of Swords about moving on. And the outcome is the Ten of Wands. This is a card of a lot of work. Perhaps you're going to work overtime so you can save a certain amount of money so that you can just finally move on if you feel like right now you can't. Perhaps you're just going to lose yourself in your work and just forget about the other people there. Forget about, trying to curry favor with the boss. That you're just going to do what is your responsibility. But this is taking on a burden that doesn't belong to you. I'm going to pick an additional card because I kind of don't like to end on that. Perfect. The World. The last card of the Major Arcana. So kind of like bringing something to closure, to an end. The number 10 is a card of endings though too. So that's not contradictory. So maybe you are going to work hard, but all the while know that it's only a matter of time before you're leaving that situation, whether you're leaving the home or you're leaving a workplace. Okay, that's what I have for you, Sagittarius. If you would like a personal reading, my website is rainamoonastrology.com. The link to my website is below. Take care. Bye.